All right, hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something super cool, the mighty muscles of machines. No, I'm not talking about metal biceps, but something just as powerful, pneumatic cylinders. Yeah, have you ever thought about that? What gives a bus door that powerful whoosh, or how a factory robot can move with such, well, precision? The answer is probably simpler than you'd guess. It's not some super complicated motor, it's just air, the same stuff we're breathing right now. So let's figure out how plain old air can be so strong.
Okay, so here's a fun way to think about it. It's kind of like a super-powered spitball. You know how a tiny puff of air can shoot a little piece of paper out of a straw? Now just imagine that puff of air was like 100 times stronger. That's pretty much the secret behind pneumatics. We're just using compressed air to move things with some serious force.
All right, first up, let's talk about the real workhorse of the pneumatic world. This is the simplest one, the one-way workhorse, the single-acting cylinder.
So, what does that mean, single acting? Well, the best way to get it is to think about a bicycle pump. It works almost exactly the same way. You push air in to make the handle, or in this case, a piston rod, move out and do some work. But then, how does it get back? It doesn't just suck itself back in. That's where a trusty old spring comes into play. And here's a look under the hood. This is basically our bicycle pump in engineering form. See that flat, round part inside? That's the piston. And the stick coming out of it is the piston rod. That's the part that does the pushing. So compressed air comes in one side, shoots the piston out, and then, what happens? That big coil you see? That's the spring. It just pushes everything right back to where it started. Super simple, right? Air pushes one way, the spring pushes it back.
So yeah, the whole cycle is just 4 simple steps. 1. Compressed air flows in. 2. The piston rod shoots out and does its job. Maybe it stamps something. 3. You shut the air off. And 4. The spring just, boing, pushes the piston rod right back home. The key thing to remember is that the power, the acting part, only happens in one direction. The return trip is just the spring doing its thing.
Okay, but this is a really good question. How does the computer controlling the machine actually know where the piston is? It can't see it, right? Well, this is where it gets clever. They often put a tiny magnet inside the piston. Then on the outside of the cylinder, there's a sensor. So as the piston slides past, the magnet basically trips the sensor and sends a little signal to the computer, like an electronic finger tapping it on the shoulder saying, "Hey, I made it." It's how the machine knows the job is done. Okay, so single acting is great for pushing, but what if you need to pull something with just as much force? A spring isn't going to cut it for that. For that, we need to upgrade. Let's check out the double acting cylinder, which gives you power in both directions. So take a look at this diagram. What's the very first thing you notice that's different from the last one? Go on, look closely. Yep, you got it. There's no spring. Instead, see how there's a hole? We call it a port on both ends. That is the secret right there.
And getting rid of that spring is a total game changer. It means we don't need it anymore. We can use compressed air to both push and pull. You get super precise control over the movement in both directions. You can even build these things with a rod sticking out of both ends, so it can do work on one side and then do work on the other side. Pretty neat, huh?
All right, so now we know about our two main types of cylinders, the one-way workhorse and the two-way powerhouse. So, which one do you choose? How do you know which one is right for the job? Let's put on our thinking caps for a second. Okay, here's a real-world problem. Let's say we're building a machine that just stamps boxes. All it needs to do is push down with a lot of force, stamp, and then pop back up to get ready for the next one. That's it. So, looking at our toolbox, which cylinder are we going to grab for this job? If you said single acting, you are absolutely right. For our box stamper, it's the perfect fit. It's simple, it's cheaper, and we only need power in one direction, down. The spring can handle the popping back up part no problem. Now, if we were building a robot arm that had to carefully pick something up and then place it down gently, well, that's a different story. For that, we'd need the double-acting cylinder for that precise control in both directions. And really, this table boils it all down. Just look at that return method column. One uses a spring, the other uses compressed air. That one little detail is everything. It's what decides if you get simple one-way power or powerful two-way control.
Okay, so we've got our cylinders moving, which is great. But what about stopping? Making things stop smoothly is just as important as making them go. And that brings us to a really smart feature called cushioning.
Exactly.
mean, think about it. If your cylinder is moving something heavy and it's moving fast, you can't just let it slam to a stop at the end. You'd hear this awful bang every single time, and pretty soon you'd break the cylinder or the machine or whatever it's attached to.
You've probably seen this in your own house. It's exactly like a soft-close kitchen drawer. You know, you give it a push, it closes fast, and then, right at the very end, it slows down and closes with a gentle thump. No bang. Pneumatic cushioning is the industrial version of that.
The fancy engineering word for this is damping or cushioning, but all it really is a set of built-in air brakes. It's a way for the cylinder to slow itself down for a nice, soft, safe landing every single time. And this is how it works. It is so clever. Okay, look closely at the diagram. As the main piston gets to the end of its trip, see that little nose sticking out the front? That's the cushioning piston. It slides into that perfectly sized little chamber, and in doing so, it traps a small pocket of air. Now that trapped air can't get out quickly. It's forced to squeeze through a tiny little hole. It's like trying to let the air out of a balloon through a pinhole instead of just letting it go. It creates this perfect cushion of air that slows everything down smoothly. Just brilliant.
And you can get even fancier with this stuff. What if you need to stop somewhere in the middle, not just all the way out or all the way in? Well, as this quote points out, you can do some really clever things like connecting two different size cylinders together. By doing that, you can create a machine that stops at 3 or 4 or even more different positions. Super precise. So there you have it. From the doors on a city bus to the robots in a factory, these pneumatic cylinders are the invisible muscles doing a ton of work all around us. So now that you know the secret, I've got a challenge for you. Where else can you spot these things hiding in plain sight? Keep your eyes peeled. You'll be surprised where you find them.